Alright, welcome everyone. Hold on, real quick, blue screen after our intro there. Hello everybody and welcome back. Let me make sure my headset's properly where it needs to be. And it's been a minute. Add track 2. Yeah, and then it's triangle. Yeah. Okay. Hello, welcome everybody. It's been a while. It has been a minute since we've done a vlog. Today we're gonna be kind of talking about some things that are gonna be changing on the channel. To try to push forward and continue to help ourselves grow, but also like since I'm gonna be going to college again soon and finishing off my 3D modeling career stuff. Um, a lot of schedule changes are about to be made. Um, The only ones I can guarantee you, at least whenever that will maintain at least somewhat normality, will probably be like the Minecraft one because it's easy with James, and then Stellaris with James. But as far as mine alone, those are gonna be mainly on if major days, probably Fridays at best, and we'll be having to swap out each week. This will be make it easier for us to cycle the games and keep them even, with me also having plenty of time to do what I need to do work schedule wise, and also my little personal projects I want to start too. But we'll get into all that. But welcome everyone. I'm gonna give everyone time to join before we really go any further though. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Ow. Sorry, my chicken. I have to shave this beard off again. I let it grow back out. It's been a kind of a crazy one. So, it has been an interesting week, I will say that. I've been kind of feeling under the weather. Also, big shout out to James, Army West 9. He's not feeling too good today, so send him some hopes and hope he feels better. Um, I'm trying to think what else. I guess another thing is I do want to be like perfectly honest. Another reason why I'm dipping the schedule back a hardcore is, of course, college and work, but it's also the off thing of at the moment. There's a lot of IRL stuff that are going on anyways, and I am having a hard time maintaining on certain styles of games now. So I'm like, I've kind of gotten to that point finally as a YouTuber. It happens to everyone, where you kind of find that point where you kind of know what you want now. And so I do want to. This isn't going to happen permanently yet, but I do want to give a heads up to everyone at some point. I don't know. I'm gotten to that point. I guess just who I am as a person, that my top priority games now seem to be strategy games and games that are just that allow me to like really dive into the character management and stuff like that. And there are some hack and slashes we'll probably still play that do this kind of stuff. Um, but there's also a ton of other style of games that sadly I don't really get to do much of on console as well. Um, but until they start getting more and more prominent, which they are, uh, it also means that as far as plans are changing, and the change, why I called it the change, is at some point I'm probably going to go this is, I guess, a rough ratio right now. Probably 60-40. Maybe a little higher than that, 65-30-35. Just to kind of go towards something I really enjoy. Because I have noticed also I seem to do, and this is just on me, I seem to do better streams on games like that because I think it's because I get into them more. I'm able to actually, like, dive my brain into, like, I'm in this world, I can role play better, I can do all this better. I don't know, it's just those style of games do that better for me. And a certain game I've been playing on my PC has reminded me of this, because I had gotten myself out of it for a while because I had gotten so used to playing the other style of games we've been doing on the channel for a bit now, which is the um I guess Gundam is a good example, third person shooters or stuff like that, hack and slashes, which the hack and slashes, that's something I grew up with, so that probably won't change much. But there's probably going to be a lot less shooters except for I'll give you an example. The only two that, or the only three that will not be affected by this, but they won't be like regular scheduled streams. They'll probably be our streams we do when I want to just chill out and hang out with, like, and do stream with James or Tam King and everybody together. Will be probably enlisted. I'm gonna be looking for more to do this kind of thing with, but at the moment it's mostly enlisted. War Thunder's always there. I just don't do it that often. um, and then the Gundams. I'm that's on the back burner until we get more people who can play with me and James. I play it, but I'm not really probably gonna stream it until we get a team we can actually play with. Um, Also, someone, yo, Sealy, welcome. That was a late reaction on this thing, gang. Welcome. Also, I was lost in the thought right there, bruh. Welcome, Sealy. And Sealy's like, bruh. Also, I imagine you are still maidenless. Oh, I love Elden Ring. That's one thing I will, like I said, hack and slashes or things that are Dark Soulsy and stuff like that, but any hack and slash really will still maintain, just not at a larger rate. So, but yeah, enlisted. Oh, and crossout. That's when every now and then you'll probably see some streams from that too. But other than that, the rest of the ones, like, that would be hard maintained is there's one. This won't be till probably after college because another one of those things that I had depends on how, like, active. Like, if I find for some reason find a team, then through this, then that'd be different. But there's also something what I'm talking about. There's League, which is on my mobile at the moment until it comes to console one day. Um, that won't be changing much once we finally get some episodes in that. But and then after that, it would be all just PC stuff. All of that would just, most of it's gonna end up as PC. That's not already console related for my channel. So, because as y'all know, there's not really strategy choices on most consoles at the moment. The next gen's getting a lot more finally, and I will, if once I ever have a PS5, I will, um once they come to those, get them on those, so I can promote that more for people who can't get PCs and stuff, because that is something I grew up with. Not I for the longest couldn't have this awesome desktop I have right now. It's not the top of the top, but it definitely does what I need it to do. But I grew up for a long time not being able to really, really play newer PC games because you have to have a decent laptop or I'd still recommend desktop over laptop any day, but you, laptop is cheaper at the end of the day to a certain extent. But it's also a downside. If it breaks, it has to be replaced. Whereas that thing can be repaired, as I've now learned. But is promoting that for everyone else who has to go through that too, not able to have a PC right away, and it takes a while to get one. Um, Trying to get more strategy games on console. The button issue is always the biggest thing. Not enough buttons for all the army control shortcuts. Total War is a big example of this. As much as I would love to see a console variant of that, the amount of hold this button and press this button together you'd have to do with every single button. It'd be like a lot like playing, as an example, the UFC games. Let me read what I see. Really odd not. I'm going into college into a few months. Pretty nervous. I still don't know what I really want to do with my life. Gotta explore, I guess. Yeah, you're still young, Celia. It's all right. Me, I should have been done by now. Let's just put it that way. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I should have already had this. but take your time with it, Celia. I would recommend if you're in the chat still. Sorry, I'm a little bit blabbery today. I'm trying to get through everything. It's gonna be a big vlog. We got a lot to talk about today. But yeah, I'd say take your time with it and just try to figure out what really speaks to you. Because one thing I can say from hindsight now is sometimes if you try to push yourself too like you want to be successful, but you don't if you push yourself too hard over the edge as well, you end up turning on even something you enjoy. So you don't want that either. So is take your time with it, focus on it, but also see what kind of speaks to you and what you really enjoy. That's what you really want to go towards, really at the end of the day, for long, especially for long term. But otherwise, yeah, it's just I don't know if I'd be like I said. Otherwise, I don't know really if I'd have any other better advice than that because look, I'm having to finish. Like I said, not sugarcoating it. I should have had mine already, but at least I will now, and it'll help us in the long run. And also, I'm out considering something else I've never thought of too because I'm a streamer now. I don't know if y'all would be interested on this channel. I would have to, and it would be just for fun, literally. It'd take a minute for me to figure out how to make sure I can get between each profile properly. But, my brain. But eventually I'm thinking about doing, like, streams on, like, I can't do it on my schoolwork. That's not allowed, of course. But, at least not that I know of. Maybe I'm wrong on that, actually. I don't know. Either way, I'm gonna be planning on for my personal projects at some point, streaming it for you guys to kind of show a little bit of what I'm gonna be doing on the side as well. And if you're really interested, then at some point I would say, okay, I'll create a whole new like side channel for that because I really feel like it wouldn't be good to put it with the major Let's Play channel that I have already. It would be better off on its own because then it could be its own standalone thing for everyone who just enjoys that. So I'm really excited about that. That's why I'm really excited about this time going back and reteaching my brain again, getting back in the groove. Because this time I can actually use it for something. My brain. Or not, make me a 3D maiden. I mean, I could. I'd have to take a lot of practice for me to do characters again. I'm used to environments more than characters, but I am going to do a lot more character design. It's mostly going to be Xenos, for reasons. As Tam King made a joke in the last stream. I am serious about it, though. It's mostly going to be practice we're going to have to... I'm going to also have to figure out what's allowed 3D model wise to show y'all too. That's what I'll have to be careful of. The Xenos may have to be my own thing because I'm gonna have to look up, is it okay if I made them, or because it's still a xenomorph, does that fall under copyright laws and all that? Because like I said, I don't want to get in trouble for that. I just want to learn how to make Xenos, so maybe one day my skills will show out, and maybe I get to make a certain game that I've always wanted. Also, if that ever became a thing, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, there's a certain YouTuber I watch who's a bigger Xeno fan than even I am. I know, right? um, that if this game ever was a thing and a possibility, I'm gonna reach out to him and be like, hey, look, I'm doing this and I want it to be accurate. I'm tired of the non-accuracy. And he'd be like, all right. No, I'm not gonna say who it is, but I love it. Let's see. I mean, you can call it a Xeno, but it can't look exactly as the Xenos. Yeah, but then it wouldn't be as good a practice. That's why I said I don't think I could. That's why we probably won't show those. I think safely what I can show you is a pseudo what I'm gonna call my pseudo Gundam. It's not gonna be a legit Gundam. I will have some of those, but same issue there. Um, it'll probably be the first one I'll probably show you guys because it's the one I want to work on first. Um, because it'll have a lot of detail in it and it'll be good practice. Will probably be my Malix concept, but it won't be a final product just in case. Because there is also the issue since I also don't have anything sadly patent on certain things right now. I don't want to do any final products either. So let's just say I will keep those for myself. but but yeah, something like that. Ardot, is Optimus a Gundam? Optimus is a no. He's a well. I mean, he's a transformer, but he's a Metatronian. I guess is another word for that. He's from Metatron. Um, no, he's his own robot. I mean, that'd be like saying is Gypsy Danger a Gundam? They're different robots. Same concept, different world. Are you making Jane? You have a lot of lore on her already. Yeah, yes. But I'm a little leery on letting anyone near her models that I'm gonna make. I had concepts with her already for a long time before I even started the channel. Sadly, they were all lost, so I will have to remake them. But I'm mm, it's funny because it's like you said, since I have so much already on that one, we'll probably do some showcases. This is where actually the benefit of me also having a side job at some point and trying to put together some saving funding to get this going. This is where maybe we might end up having to do, and I'm not trying to be too harsh on this, the separation of where maybe Patreon starts to come in. And I don't mean like paying necessarily. I don't know if there's a way to do it like this, but I don't necessarily want y'all to have to pay yet, really, either. I'm going to say that now. I'm not like other YouTubers, to be fair. I know that's technically hurting me in the long run, but at the end of the day, for me, in the beginning, because I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, anyways, on the side, so I want y'all to just be able to have access, but I also want it to be mostly for people who've, like you said, who've been on the channel, who've been around the lore for the longest. So for that situation, basically a member's way of setting up for y'all to be able to see personally yourself. So you, Lee, James, Tam King, these are just examples. This isn't everybody I'm about to name off. There's a little too many. But and I'm thankful for that, even for someone as small as I am. Real life and on YouTube. But anyways, um is that way you, Lee, Tam King, James, Farseer, Darius, Warlock, everybody else, Artbone from the old days, everybody to get a chance to see the progress of that. So, yo, James, yo, what's up? I'm feeling a better. I wonder if that meant to say all better or if you meant a better. I'm feeling a better. All right, Catherine of the Ice Queensland. Welcome. Didn't you say she had scarlet hair? She does. I mean, that's easy though. You know how many characters have scarlet hair? That part's not really unique. It's me adding in the detail of what she represents from the Guardian Corps versus what she becomes. So, that's all I'll say for that. But for now. I mean, y'all have seen all the y'all have heard it a million times when I'm making random just characters and games based on it. Especially Stellaris. Although she doesn't have a faction in that yet. Let's just say that it might have changed. Oh man. Kind of Kind of sad. I'm kind of scared of it, actually. My new version of her faction, I'll just say, in Stellaris. Yikes! Might have done too good. Oh, I did a test run um last night a little bit while I was laying down, and I was a neutral faction. So what I did is I played Fenrir. I put Guardian Corps back on the map. I redid them. I had them basically face off, so I kind of, this is the irony, I kind of, let's just say, may have inadvertently south-out them in my own way in Stellaris. I'm not going to say what that is, because it gives away too many of my tactics in Stellaris that I do use when I'm actually trying to win. But let's just say in other games terms, I south-out the hell out of that situation and said, let's see what happens. I want to see who can beat who. And I did wait till they were relatively the same strength. And I bolstered both. Just to see who would win. The Guardian Corps lost. Let's just say somebody got their revenge. Oh, that was literal blood for the blood god, I guess, that day. Oops. Also, James said, what did I miss? I've just been talking about future plans on the channel, the schedule changes, which we're going to get to that here in a minute. Now more people are joining. We'll talk about the official change in the schedule here soon. But as far as just single videos with me are concerned, I was also saying, James, that I was talking about eventually doing 3D, just a couple previews on this channel to see how y'all like it and see if you would enjoy watching me do this. And for anyone, I mean, if there's even, because I'm a small channel, if there's even like 10 to 20 people who want to see this, I will figure out a way to make a backup channel just for those. Like, just for doing that, if you want to see my 3D modeling progress and me learning. And it'll also be a cool thing for anyone learning how to do it as well. Learn with someone who also is relearning, because I will be kind of a noob again. I'm going to have to learn how to do all my shortcuts and everything. The advantage I do have this time, which I'm going to love, is that this awesome beast here is with my keyboard and mouse. Completely customizable keyboard and mouse. So this means this time, all the shortcuts I have a hard time reaching that make it hard for me to be fast at modeling like other people are and efficient, not anymore. Now, just like I do for Total War, I do for Conqueror's Blade. I'll let that one seep in for a while. I do for, what is the other one? Motorsport Manager. My brain just, right there. These are some of the hints, maybe, towards certain things that'll be a part of the new schedule. And then there's another one. There's two more coming that will also be swapped here. Like I said, this will all be Friday episodes. Friday is gonna be what I'm gonna start calling it, before we go over the real episodes. What am I, a series? Before we go over the actual schedule, it's always gonna be Fridays. Maybe Saturdays here and there. No, Sundays here and there. Not Saturdays. I can't do that. Stellaris is on that day. But since Minecraft is easier to do, and me and James kind of just take our time with that, what I can do is I can do like after Minecraft, like late night, not late, but like afternoon specials for Sundays. On the same thing, and we do another one of our swapped out games that will be one of the Friday ones, which is going to be all of our PC stuff. It's going to be a certain Total War. It's going to be Motorsport Manager. Not sure what we're going to start on career-wise on that yet. I'm still debating on how we want to handle it. I may let y'all decide that just so it makes it more fun for me, because then I'm like, well, I'll just work from whatever y'all give me. which will be interesting. And let's see, and then yes, and then the other one I mentioned, a certain Conqueror's Blade. Let's see. Let me go back and read chat real quick before we get into that. I already know Jane is made overpowered given how me, Farseer, Warlock, Darius, GC, and the respective armies barely seal her heart. Exactly. It's because it's that one thought that drives her, and that's destroying my existence. Oh man. Plus, she's basically corn at this point. She's basically the Chaos God, Blood God at this point. Not literally, this is just a joke, of course, but in power terms, essentially. Oh man. Are you still, let's see, are you still incorporating the SCP concept? In Minecraft? Yes, but not until after the Megaplex is finished. That would be too much at one time. That's not gonna happen for a while. I'm gonna put that up right there, right now. Like, that ain't gonna happen for a while. I gotta finish the pizzeria first, which is what we're doing currently in our series for Minecraft. Then after that, I'm going to absorb the pizzeria and convert the village me and James have, which he's been helping me fill in the sewer part. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to spoil too much. If you want to see what that looks like, you'll have to check out his side of things in Minecraft. But let's just say that entire village, along with, I see, from the, if you look at it from the end game perspective, or end stream perspective, when we're sitting on James's mountainside hidden dwarven fortress, um out to the right of the village, that's going to be expanded and taken down as well. It's going to be a massive building. It's going to be smaller than the SCP project, but definitely still a big ass project, which is what I want. Because there's a reason why I'm keeping Minecraft in this so hard, is not only because I don't want to have to change any of the stuff I'm doing with James, because really, to be fair, that stuff shouldn't be a problem, because all that stuff is the same as what I'm already going to be doing, which is games we can just kind of take our time with and see what happens as we go. So, um, so we're going to be doing that. And also, all these games are to keep my mind kind of in this certain mindset, too. Because I have noticed, as a gamer with me, it's so strange, and I've noticed this with me. I do have a little bit of an issue with, like, a switch that when I'm switching, like, styles of games, it does tend to crop up and be like certain styles meet certain moments. So for hack and slash, or not hack and slash, shooters mainly, but hack and slashers sometimes do this. It depends on which one it is. That's why some of them are staying, because not all of them are like that to me. Like, they're just fun to play for me. I don't know. It depends on which one. Shooters are all about, every single shooter falls into the grounds of what I'm about to say, except for story-based ones. When I'm playing hack and slash shooters, I tend to devote, because I have to keep up the skill wise with the other players, a lot more than certain other games. I have to devote more energy to it. And that really that ain't gonna work. That's why things like Gundam and all that's, other than me maybe here and there getting some tokens, when college starts, just to let you know too, James, also so you don't get freaked out, I probably will dump off Gundam for a minute, just because that game, it's just impossible to maintain it sometimes, just because teams and how much effort you as a pilot have to put in your mobile suit to win or get any of your dailies done sometimes. And that's just, that won't be a thing with me also having to do work here and there, and also streaming. So that one will probably have to go. However, like I said, cross out staying and the rest, they'll be fine. So yeah, see, that would be an interesting battle. I agree with that, James. Like, also hashtag building boys. Building boys. And then I want to see a battle between Jane and Melantha. Yeah, that'd be a hell of a battle. Love how you're extorting and kicking out the villagers out of their own land. Oh, they're not getting kicked out, Sealy. Much worse. They're not it's the megaplex, Sealy. They're not getting kicked out. They're hashtag joining the staff. They're gonna get to stay. Just not in the same way. Oh, man. Oh, man. Talk about air and sea pollution as far as hashtagging in Minecraft. You don't want to know how many squid are going to have to die to make this place. Oh, because there's so many, because especially the pizzeria alone need a ton of black dye for the checkered pattern in the old building. Oh, it's gonna be bad. There's gonna be a lot of map destruction to make this megaplex. And it's gonna be so big that you're gonna look at it and probably see it from a distance and be like, "Wow, that seems a bit that seems a bit overindulgent." If you can't tell what's Chaos Lord I'm playing as mostly. Watch our Stellaris stream, Sealy. Yeah, that's true. Make me a maiden animatronic. Nah, I don't think that would be a thing. There's not really. I guess Ballora would be the closest to that, but there's not really any of those. Huh? Hello. Huh? Oh, the Malix. Ah. Yeah, my mom's kind of down in the weather right now. She's in the manual wheelchair we have at the moment. And see, but yeah, I mean, Ballora would be the closest to that, but I don't know if really that's a thing that would actually exist at a megaplex. But yeah, all right. I guess how long? Let me check, see how long we've been going. Let me refresh this. I'm letting my computer do this since I had it on anyways because I was playing something earlier. I've been practicing a lot in my PC side, trying to get my toes used to my keyboard again, so I can be fast. Let's see. We have been going for about 30 minutes. Okay, not bad. I don't want to go too long tonight because I'm also gonna let everyone know there's not gonna be any Blood Bowl this week until Friday. Because I'm going to be taking this week to chill and do any IRL stuff I need to do still with the college, which I got to go down there, straighten out something with my disability stuff, and also see if I got to get any books. I don't think so, because these classes I got are purely online. So, which is why I have the advantage with my computer, to be fair, at this point, which I'll take it. To be fair, I can handle that more than at this point. Probably being in an actual class setting. It means sadly I don't get to meet anybody like in person or stuff, and network as well. But it'll be alright. I'd rather get this done, get my stuff finished, and get moving towards my my degree of 3D modeling and stuff. I cannot talk today. Yikes. But anyways, let us get to the schedule for the final part of this vlog tonight before we go to Q&A if anyone wants to ask any questions that they might have had for a while now and just forgot them or something. Since this is a good place for everyone to come to at the same time. What is it? So, first off, schedule-wise, my class starts next week. Is it this week? Hold on, let me check my dates. 7th. Yeah, so it's next week. So next week today is when the classes start. So this week is our last week before the schedule completely is just completely different. So here's what's going to happen. When this starts up, Blood Bowl may still be in there here and there too. We'll see how that goes. It's another one of those games that it can just be done whenever and it doesn't have to have any, practice or whatever. Our main schedule, as far as that's concerned, Fridays are now going to, and at Sunday afternoons when available. I'm going to put that in a huge, huge hashtag here, when available, after Minecraft. We are going to be doing our, I haven't come up with a catchy name for it yet, but it's basically, I wonder if I have an auto generator I can look up. I'll have to look one up and see if I can get me a good auto generator app or something like that. On my phone, because that'd be cool. Is a random. What I'm trying to go for is like a roulette type thing a bit. Like, since there will be a few of them, and to make it fair, because it's gonna be hard to like, oh, this one goes here, this one goes here, this one goes here. Now we gotta do this one because we haven't done this one in a while. What I think we should do, just also keep it fresh for me a bit, is I'll try to, like I said, I'll need to find me a auto generator, or I'll have to just do it on paper and just do like the old day, like just close my eyes, just boom, and do something like that. Whatever works, we'll figure it out. But we're gonna be doing what is basically gonna be called, for now until I can come up with a better name. Um, No, then that's too. I want to use that, but I'm like, it's too that's too many Warhammer references using that. Plus, I want it to be something to do with us as the Guardian Corps, so I'll have to think about that. But right now there's going to be called Roulette Weekends, which is going to be Friday and Sunday. Like I said, afternoon. So Fridays and Sundays, what we're going to do as soon as we get on the stream, because here's the benefit of being on PC versus my console. Also, the benefit here is I can start the stream on my computer's dashboard instead of straight on the game. So what we could do is literally start the stream, do a roulette, and then pick who it is, and then we decide the title after whatever happens that day. This will also make it easier for me to unify my descriptions and change them after the stream when I have more time to edit it, which makes workload a little bit easier as well. So that's what my plan is for that. Is every Friday or Sunday afternoon we will get on a PC stream and we will decide, what are we doing today. Are we going to be doing just Total War, Conqueror, Motorsport Manager, the other one I'm going to be getting, and a few others like that. Which one will it end up being? So, and like I said, I'll do an auto generator or just do it on paper and stuff like that. And then on certain days, if I feel like just letting y'all decide, I'll just let y'all feel like what you want to see that day, and we'll just go with that one too. So, but yeah, let me go back to chat here. Should I make Celia an empire on Stellaris? I mean, you could. There is aquatic. Wait, do we have that already? I think that's the new DLC. I don't know if we have that yet. You might want to wait to do that, James, if it's not already out, because I do think there is an aquatic DLC for Stellaris coming. I don't know for certain, but I have heard that that is a thing. And if that's the case, you should probably wait till that happens, then make M1, because then we'll have a species that thrives on water planets, ocean worlds, which would be cool. And then, and then I'll have to make their rival. Oh man, say talking about overpowers. I remember there's this main character who embodies the end. Just how there is a beginning, he is the end, literally. There's a lot of characters in some like fantasies and lores like that. To be fair, I've heard of that a lot, so that doesn't surprise me. Tis not surprising, but let's see. Seals on Stellaris sounds interesting. I don't know if they'll have a legit seal directly, but there's probably something that'll look like a sentient seal. I imagine they usually do pretty good when they do species packs because they tend to include quite a few pictures or like little models you can use for your species when you first create them. So Stellaris is probably one of the once you have all the DLCs, that is the downside of Stellaris, but once you do have all the DLCs, Stellaris is probably always going to be one of those best, the best as far as for now, anyways. The best like set your own kind of role playing empire, galactic scenario kind of deal. Like you can put whoever you want in it, design whatever type of empires you want to kind of fit what you want them to do and behave like in this universe that you're going to be doing. It's dope. It's really dope. It's basically a design your own Total War kind of deal. Just Total War has better combat mechanics, I will say. But how broken are they exactly? How broken? My brain. Oh, you talking about the other end characters, or are you talking about the seals? I mean, you can on vanilla. Everyone can be broken if you know what you're doing. Like, I'm starting to get better at knowing efficient builds for each style of empire you really want it to do. The more I make more. So, it really just depends on how good you are at making empires. I mean, me and James are getting pretty good at it, so I imagine we could make a pretty powerful one. I'd have to, yeah, no, I should make that as the irony part for the other lores of Jane. Since you're the gatekeeper, did you have to try to hold her at the gate? I should make it where you always have to spawn next to her empire. Oh man, Seely's Hodor from from Game of Thrones. Hold the door. She comes. The Blood Witch comes. Oh man. Huh? Wait, spawn where? Right next door to Jane's Empire. That way both of you can start off being a pain in each other's back. Oh man, it would be apt because there are ways to make startups like that. Now I'd have to give you some bonuses so you're not just run over, because I want it to be fair, just not easy. He's like, huh? Wait, where? Oh man, I have. Oh man. No, hard not. She really is being. Oh man. I mean, yeah, well, you're also the one keeping her at bay, so she can't get out to, actually expand her power. So, it makes sense. It makes sense why she'd be extremely aggressive. It's like, oh, you're in my way. Okay. Pulls out two very sharp axes. Oh, man. Oh, man. I am doing my job. Yeah, well, for her, that's keeping her from achieving her goal, which is getting back to at like the Guardian Corps. So yeah, yeah, you're keeping her from getting to the person she's trying to take out of existence. So inadvertently, this makes you also an enemy, and an enemy of Jade is. Let's just say, from what I've seen in Stellaris, not great to be. Oh man. Also, why does she want to serve me on a platter sprinkled with barbecue sauce? Also, my nervous twitch is going crazy today. I just realized that. Um, well, she does. She is still, still what a blood witch, and also, you know, it's Jane. She eats everything. It's kind of how she gets stronger. So you're just contributing to the energy gain. I am gonna make this joke. This is why I'm working on her lore more and more to make it more varied. Because I will say she is at the moment very corn-like. She's definitely a blood god worshiper. She's definitely a follower of corn. That's why I gave her axes. Because why not? I've always liked axes though, like the dual berserker axe wield. Plus, it kind of fits. I'm gonna make a Sealy's. I'm gonna make Sealy's and Empires Stellaris. Exactly. I mean, I'll see what I can do in the beginning. I'll make a temporary template one so we can both have one, or you can make yours, James, and you can show me what your template is, and I'll make it in mine as well, so that way it's in both. I doubt though without him having his aquatic benefits that I think the new DLC is gonna afford the new species type. He may not last. Because that will be the benefit. Is like the irony in this is, and I'm hoping it kind of shows this in Stellaris, because they're actually pretty good about knowing what the species would be good at in space. So I'm hoping they're a lot like the aquatics from Star Trek, which would make them really cool species to play as. Because the advantages they're going to have is supreme control over knowing this situation or that situation and being able to maintain map control. That's pretty strong. Basically a water version of kind of Zeech, I guess. I wouldn't say Nurgle, that didn't make any sense. Not Corn either. Or Slanesh, that's dang sure it's not. Um, I might be mean to his empire, we'll see. James, don't club the seals. Ah, man, you never know. I mean, there are dwarves nearby. He does have a dwarven empire that's pretty aggressive. And two different types of rock species. One good, who will help you and trade with you. The other will basically look at you as an organic pile of junk. And be like, you belong to us or we smush you behind giant boulder coming from space. And then... Um, Then he's got a couple others. Of course, Zeech is in there. It's hilarious. We've created a lot of new factions now. I have a lot more than I did before. I tend to go hog wild after a certain point in Stellaris and make just a bunch, just so I have different scenarios. But oh man, okay, let's see. It's 6:34. I think we'll go into the question part now. I think at this point, because I need to start wrapping it up, because I don't want to eat too late either, because I do want to have time to chill, and I always do kind of end up kind of late before I get to chill, and then end up being up too late, and it makes me tired. So we are going to start wrapping this up soon, but I'm going to switch over to question mode. If anyone has any major questions about the schedule, I will reiterate, just in case this is one of the simple questions to answer, one more time. Fridays and Sundays, because this is the major part that will change. That's not multiplayer with James. Friday and Sunday will become like the roulette weekend days. So those will be the days that we randomly choose one of our PC games. And if we get more than that, like let's say we start to get some actual console games right now, because here's the ironic part. Part of the reason why also I'm a little bit PC oriented more right now is other than the games me and James have already been playing, there aren't too many new ones other than Elden Ring, which I just don't have time for, sadly. Um, like other than Elden Ring and one or two others right now, I just don't have the grinding schedule for. We will also include that at some point. Now, once that happens, the roulette will have to be slightly different. It'll have to be decided in a in Discord, and I'll let y'all know in Discord that day what gets picked before the stream. So, or if I'm gonna have y'all vote, I will put it in the early. I will put it in Discord and on YouTube early that day. Um, to get y'all's whichever one you would like to see if we go for the voting one that day as well. But that will only be on Fridays, guaranteed. Well, guaranteed as far as unless IRL stuff like school, like I said, my projects I'll be working on also need a little more attention, then those will come first. And then what I'll do is I'll work it in on the other day and do it that way or something like that. This way it gives me a lot of playability with all the schedule. So, but it will always be a Friday and Sunday no matter what. I won't be able to do it on any other days. That we will do these. So, or not? Can I build an empire that can bully Seely's empire? Wait a minute. Since Jane's been getting stronger, I've been training in the arts of imaginary sword, archive, mirrored world, and that you're definitely a Zeech. You and James should get along. Archive, mirrored world, and then gave the power to slice through the heavens. You're definitely a Zeech. You. Especially that first one. Imaginary sword. Swords that you think are real but only are magical and don't really exist, but because you believe they exist, they hurt you. That's how Zeech works. Oh man, come here, Seely, and be my slave. Wow, yes, the Lord Zeech has spoken. Turns out Seely was a follower of James this entire time. Turns out the seals literally must be a. You know what? I believe that. You know what? I just realized a bunch of sentient seals that are strong enough to fight blood demons. That definitely sounds like a Zeechy thing to do. Dang you, James. You held out, bro. You can't make me sign a contract. Well, what if they're already in it? That's where the irony in here. My and we keep adding on to Sealy's species lore. They're part SCP, It turns out they're also made from Zeech because, sentient seals with magical powers and spaceships and able to fight blood demons and also eat other seals sometimes. And horses. Really likes horses. um It's that sounds like if I have ever wanted to look and see a weird Zeechy demon, that's a Zeech demon. I mean, he already makes bird creatures and things that look like eels. Actually, he does. Wait a minute. He does have aquatics. Zeech summons screamers. Zeech screamers, or whatever. The screamers of Zeech. They look like manta rays. Whoopsies. Well, Sealy, I guess welcome to James's Empire. Also, I by coincidence started training in imaginary sword purely because I wanted to a intangible blade that cuts anything and everything. Exactly. Only a Zeech. No other faction would think like that. Oh man, that's fantastic. Oh man. Cecilia is now permanently a Zeech demon. Hammer go whack everyone nuts. No, I'm not big with just deranged, but I mean, you're making an imaginary sword, so who's deranged? I think you're equally Zeechy. Just he's the bigger Zeech. He's actually Zeech. You're Kairos. If Kairos was a giant sentient seal, you're Kairos. A two-headed sentient giant seal with a magical imaginary sword that pierces anything because he makes them see it in their heads. So because they imagine the sword actually hurts them. I blame James for this. Oh no! Farseer said, I'm late because I'm currently suffering from dwarves with Star Destroyers. I blame James for this. Everyone is crazy. Are we or are we all normal? Also, that reminds me of my favorite song that I need to show you guys at some point. Well, not show you, but open up the playlist if y'all want to listen to it. Is I think it's called Mad Hatter. Yeah, Mad Hatter is the song to give a shout out to the song. Um, let's just say all the best people in the world are crazy. Oh, let's yes, give me more power. Farser's here. Welcomes, and yes, apparently the dwarves, as she said, are now have Star Destroyers. I just realized I read that. Wow. I don't think I have words exactly for that. Yes, Star Destroyer dwarves. Fantastic. Yes, give me more power. Mm. But let's see. There's a Zeech demon stronger than his main demon champion, but he's completely insane and is basically a chaos tactical nuke. It'd be cool. I know the game doesn't represent this. It'd be cool if the demon prince you face in Zeech's realm though was that demon, the one you're talking about, Farseer. Because I do know Kairos isn't technically the strongest. Technically none of them are actually. If you think about it, not even. I mean, he's close, but not even technically. Scarbrand. Like, I think the closest might be Father Plague Lord. But even that being said, if you really think about it, think about the fact they're all on the mortal realm. Whereas when you go into the chaos realm in that game, Little hint towards what's going on in that game. I'm not going to say why. You have to fight another Daemon Prince, even of your own faction. So it would be kind of cool if that was a thing, like the ones that are inside the special areas that I'm not going to give too much away on for those who haven't seen it yet or played it yet. I kind of wish those were that. Like, they represented the real, like, holy hell. I see why this one guards the realm. Oh, let me get this one thing right here in this chat thing. Oh, no, Farseer got it. Thank you, Farseer. Zeech made him crazy because he was too strong. Yeah, I can see that. But I also been training to achieve the mirrored world where my soul and body mirror the universe itself. You are most definitely a Zeech. See, I love it because, Celia, you're like, I am not like the James, as you completely talk about mirroring yourself to the universe and the world. Sounds familiar. Something that can see the past, the present, and the future. Well, Zeech himself, I think, can. Kairos can't. He doesn't have a third head. I love that that's basically what that is. He just doesn't have a third head, and he needs... what was he get from the bear? Is the eyes of the bear? Yeah, that's all I'll say. The eyes of the bear. I'm not going to hint towards anything what any of this means until we play it, but... You're kidding me. Let's see, every time he's summoned, everything is destroyed, even the demons of Zeech and the blast radius. That's amazing. That sounds... James, you know what? You're definitely Zeech. That is something James would have. He doesn't care about his own units. He's like, alright, well, this is done. It doesn't matter who's in the way. Just boo. Oh man, this is why I am terrified when James gets a computer and he learns how to play Zeech properly. I've played a little bit of Zeech now and learned how he plays. He terrifies me. Or not Zeech. I keep saying play as Zeech. You don't play as any of the Chaos Lords. You play as a champion, one of the champions of the Chaos Lords. So Scarbrand, Nakari, I always forget his name. Gorgov? The Plague Father. We're just gonna call him Plague Father. Not the Grandfather. That's Nurgle. And then of course, Kairos. Or Chiron. I always say Kairos. I think it's Chiron, right? Like Carrion. It's meant to say Chiron, but it's also meant to represent Carrion as in a giant vulture, like the dead. Because they eat the dead. But I think it's Chiron. I've been saying his name wrong, I think. Let's see. He's somewhere in the middle of the warp far away from Zeech and his demons. That's why I said the perfect place to put him would be, no offense, in that. That's why I think the game would benefit from that. And he could literally have that ability. Where when he first shows up, he just comes out of nowhere and just... You have to make sure your units are kind of spread out before you know he's going to show up. Because then he just comes out and just... Whoop! And then maybe you want to kind of tactically, at least from a game perspective, maybe keep some units to sacrifice and maybe get him to land on his own units. That would be so fantastic. Because the realms that you actually fight in, to get, without spoiling too much, in vague way of saying this, the realms you fight in for each Chaos Lord are very unique on how the maps have different styles of buffs, debuffs, how you have to win on each realm, how you have to get to the center main battle. That's all I'll say. As far as boss battle, hashtag, I guess. And stuff like that. So it would be even cooler to see. I'm not saying they should do this. It'd have been a cool concept. That each champion or Daemon Prince that you fight has a specialty intro, maybe, or perk or passive ability they can do that just makes them who they are, I guess. In his case, literally blowing things sky high as a tactical Zeech nuke. Because there is abilities, because I want to say, maybe, people are like, well, then wouldn't that be too OP? If you've seen Heart of Winter, that's all I'll say. The ability that a certain Ice Queen has. No, that's not OP. Because that's about the same level of it. God, that ability is ridiculous. Just sit back. Bye. Just see the Ice Queen waving. Let's see. To put a scale of his power, if he was in fantasy, the planet would have been long gone. Oh, so he's a 40k Zeech champion. Oh, I can see why that would be too much then. But there, you could scale him down and like make a fantasy equivalent. Like, really, all that is at the end of the day is just scaling it down. Come up with a fantasy alternative version, which makes sense why he's weaker, but still strong enough to be annoying enough to Zeech that he's like, you're gonna be here and only here forever. And you're gonna be crazy while you're there. What did I miss? Let's see. God, James, what did you implant on my head? Celia, I slowly make you mad. Oh, man. Let's see. No, wait, what did I say? Missed that. He whose fantasy would be long since destroyed in the realms of chaos. Also, Timmy eliminates Stan. Also, the Timmy eliminates. Oh, that's fantastic. But yeah, I do agree though. Like, I don't know. Like, these are just concepts, like I said. At the end of the day, the game is still brilliant. I so much love Warhammer 3 way more than Warhammer 2. The settlement battles also. I think that's the icing and the seal on the cake for me, because that was the thing I think that's the reason why I didn't enjoy Warhammer 2 quite as much. Which is why you saw me tend to auto resolve after a certain point, a little too hard and too many times. I still do it if I know it's the most efficient thing to do, time wise, depending on the casualty level and all that. But I think the thing that makes Warhammer 3 the best, is for me at least, is the addition of making it more fun to actually have to run through settlement battles and castle battles, because that's another thing. Settlement battles were never really settlement battles. They were just an open field battle that just basically took place against, in a small little area that took place against the enemy army. Now there's legit small settlements that don't have walls per se, at least not completely, but they have pathings and setups that allow you to create defenses and barricades and traps and towers and stuff like that, and set up your units in actual defensive spots. And a new addition to it, elevational positions on the edge of a map if it sits higher than another spot. You can actually station a unit officially, almost like as if it's a wall back in the old game, on that edge, and that ranged unit will go and actually shoot down, just like on a wall. It is brilliant. I love that addition so much. I can't tell you how many battles I've cheated with having no armies nearby and just using a small garrison and some defenses. It is so good at doing it. It won't win against, it depends on how high level it is, I guess. If it's a level 2 settlement, it can win up against probably a 15 stack if you're good, but nothing higher than this. Well, nothing majorly higher. So at 18, 20 guaranteed, and any larger, that's probably going to be hard to win. You'll do a crud ton of damage. You will make them hurt for it, which is also why I like that now too, because now it also makes it a reason to fight all these battles manually, even if you know you're going to lose. just for you to hurt them so bad that they can't go anywhere else and take anything else. And then your main army can come in and mop up and clean everything back out. It's so good if you're caught in a corner. I love it. Let's see. Also, Fantasy is glad they don't have the Enslaver Plague Demon. The Chaos Gods don't control these demons, since these will be the end of everything event. Ah! It's funny that they're plague demons. It almost makes you wonder if Nurgle just wins one day. Even though they're technically lore-wise not controlled by the Chaos Gods, in a way it does make you wonder his faction might have won. Because it's interesting that they're called just Enslaver Plague Demons. Maybe it's also Slaanesh, partially. That it is definitely somewhat of a Chaos Undivided thing happening right there, that's for sure. But yeah, that makes sense that would be the end of everything event, which is kind of what I wonder if it's not in this full scale. Don't take this with a grain of salt, because as a hardcore lore as is Warhammer, I doubt they really truly did this, but in a way you can kind of simulate that with the Daemon Prince. If you play the Daemon Prince playthrough, because he is Chaos Undivided, if you go down that path. So in a way, he is that demon. Or he is those demons. Because he does not answer to them. They do not like him. Unless you make friends with them or cheese it. You can be peaceful with the other Chaos Lords that don't fully hate you. But unless you're just not going to go for them, there's no real viable reason to do that. So, unless you're Zeech. Because then you can just take people's settlements, you know. This is just mine now. Every 10 turns, if you have enough grimoires. Let's see. That is, I am going to achieve peak form of imaginary sword, mirrored world, and create a new arc called One World for All, and conquer. And I counter your imaginary sword by being your master, and you can't kill your master. See, that's kind. I wonder if that's in a way what happened to the one Farseer mentioned. Like he's got all this power, and Zeech is like, nah, 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 nah. So you forget, I'm still Zeech. That's basically what that is. Let's see. To put a scale of power, they were hinted to end the war in heaven since they destroyed basically everything, including the old ones, and they spread insanely fast. That's really what happens actually. If you ever seen anyone else play a playthrough of them who's good with the Chaos Demons as Undivided, at least from a video game standpoint, that is kind of what happens. Even as you're winning the realm race kind of thing, which maybe that'd be a cool roleplay thing for the Daemons of Chaos for people when Mortal Empires comes out, finally. And we have everyone. That would be a cool, like, you could literally then simulate the end times happening with the Daemons of Chaos faction. Because you could just blanket the entire map at some point. It would be insane. I don't even know. I wonder what the game would be like at that point. I have never done that. I've done what requires for like larger conquests for each faction and other ones, mostly off camera, sadly. We never really finished any on stream. But yeah, it's in that case it'd be viable to be like, no, I'm gonna take everything. And what I can't take I burn and raise shrines. To myself at this point, basically. It's like Chaos Undivided again. No, but but yeah. And you're God, I'm going to leave and play poker match with Yog Tagath alongside a cup of green leaf tea. Also, they take control of their victims permanently and use their weapons against them, and there's no cure, only death. The Imperium has to destroy the planet to get rid of them. That makes sense. But it's funny you say that. That's also something interesting that you could do in this game. Unlike the last one, unless this was something, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Farseer, and I will feel real dumb if I never did that in the last one and y'all did know it was a thing. I'll be real embarrassed. The one thing I also like about Warhammer 3 now is if you forcibly vassalize someone, you can start building you can build outposts in their territories. You can also do this through alliances. You can build outposts in their territory and build their units. So essentially what we can do in the Mortal Empires at some point when it comes out as the Daemons of Chaos, because I'm thinking I'm going to play Kislev first, unless y'all rather see someone else hardcore specifically, except Scarbrand. I need to take him off the table because me and James eventually, when he does get his computer up and running at some point and gets a new one, way down the line, me and him are gonna do a unusual chaos like run against each other, where I'm gonna be Scarbrand. We were gonna be different people originally because there was gonna be a third Chaos Lord, but I guess not at this point. But I'm gonna be Scarbrand at this point and take over his Corns playthrough. And James is gonna be we all know who. So the enslavers are technically older than the Chaos Gods in 40k. Oh, that makes sense. So they're like the original in a way. That's cool. So, like I said, I don't know all of the details on that stuff. Anyways, not yet, but I'm learning as I play more Warhammer and learn more stuff. But like I said, I absolutely love just the different things. Also, the play value is different. And what I mean by that is not play value. What should I say? How should I word this? Play replayability. I don't know what I was thinking. The replayability is a bit different in this game. In Warhammer 2, even on the harder difficulties when you get used to it, I never sadly made it to hard as much. Only did one or two off-camera streams with it, and I did okay. Not great, but okay. Is the difference in this that I've noticed that even on hard when I played Warhammer 2, the factions are pretty predictable in Warhammer 2. You can kind of goat the AI even on hard to do things that would really get it in trouble that no AI should really do. However, I have noticed, and I do love this, and they also tend to have trends. Like, there is some randomicity to it, but there does seem to be trends of certain AIs going after certain things beyond what they're actually wanting for their faction, that they always go this way. So after, let's say I'll use Reichland as an example. Let's say the Empire gets everything that it needs. Its initial actual province and whatever is required. After that, it's kind of whatever you want to do with that situation and which way you need to go first. Back in Warhammer 2. However, the thing here is there's always one good way to go. I don't remember which way it is, so I'm not going to say it and sound dumb, but there's always one real good way to go, and it's just the most efficient. But I have noticed that's not a thing in Warhammer 3, even on normal. The empires are very unpredictable. I've had some test runs where, like, and you're gonna laugh at this because he's actually on the map, and I didn't know this. I know, and so is Franz. That's why I was using Reichland as an example, because Franz is present. I didn't know that the actual edge of this map at the bottom is where Reichland and all that is. And I was like, oh. So I know where we're at now. I know where this technically is in the map. So it's going to be interesting once Mortal Empires comes out to see how this is going to play out. Because that's an interesting spot to start compared to the rest of everything else. So, but Um, but yeah, there's always a specific proper way for Warhammer 2, but in Warhammer 3, I've noticed there's a lot of unpredictability. So back to the example, Throt the Unclean during one of my playthroughs eliminated the entire empire and all the humans. He had all of that territory out there. And he was fighting with the ogres. I was like, am I playing Throt right now? What's happening? And it's like, felt like it was my Throt from Warhammer 2 for a minute there. I was like, what? And then there's other situations that's happened like this. There's been a situation where Cathay almost completely eliminated Chiron, where he could not go into the Chaos Warp. He could not maintain proper armies, so he never went into the other realms. Well, actually, no, I take that back. He kept going into the Slanesh one and taking the easy way out, so he'd get more resources, I assume. The AI is really intelligent in Warhammer 3. Map tactically, as far as fighting them, normal seems about normal. They don't seem to be much different there. But that's never been really a problem. A hard, they're pretty smart on that. But I have noticed that some units will actually back off now if they know their counter is coming. And they'll try to dodge spells a lot more actively now, too, depending on the spell or if they're locked up in combat doing something and distracted. It's amazing. So that's why it's going to be one of probably our first. It's either going to be on that or we'll take a quick, easy route that first day and show you all my growing character in a certain conqueror's blade. but yeah. That's why I love that game. That's probably the one I enjoy the most at the moment, other than playing Motorsport Manager here and there. See, when James get his PC, I hope he join in for some X4 Foundations. I have some special mega structures to test out. Wow. That's funny, but that's. I mean, I'm pretty sure James will join in. Like I said, we're gonna do a lot of once that all happens. We're gonna do a lot of different things. I do want to do more PC streams with all of us as a community as well. Once all that starts out in the far future, as far as that one's concerned. Um, but yeah, I would be excited to do that. Also, we could do our original thing we were originally all gonna do together. Um, once he gets it as well. Not the engineer thing. That we still might be able to do more reasonably in the future than that. So, but won't say why. But let's just say there's a way out. but there's so many games. There's so many games. As far as PCs, like I said, I'm stoked for a lot of what we're gonna be doing. Sounds like the AI in 1212 AD medieval mod for Attila saw a lot of weird things happen on that map. Yeah, it does. I'll admit, I never played that one, but it reminds me of Civ for me. Because sometimes in Civ, random empires will just blow up and just be like, they just somehow got the right way, they took the right strategies, they were smart about their movements as an AI, and just all of a sudden huge. So it was just funny though to look to send some because here's how I found out. I sent some cultists down there as I was playing as Zeech because I needed to start some of the cults to get more grimoires so I could manipulate the ways of change some more. Such a cheesy little mechanic if you're good with it. My surprise, when I got down there, I started seeing Throt flags, and I'm like, why am I seeing Skaven and ruins everywhere? What's happening down here? And then it's like, I started checking them, and sure enough, rot had taken over all of the human lands. There might have been, if there were any left, there were remnants of them, and like maybe one or two human empires left, as far as that area is concerned. I wouldn't say all of Bretonia's area, mostly just the empire's area for some reason. I don't know why. Well, I mean, ironically, in real life, I know why. But as far as the lore would be concerned, the way that happened, that was a bit ironic, too. But you know what? Hey, you've seen the capability of my megastructures. Yes, I have. They are quite amazing. You missed mine and Seely's conversation. Let me go back. Well, I didn't want to butt in on y'all's conversation at first. I was watching it, but I didn't get to read it all. Let's see. Oh, no. Hold on. Then it went. That's where you're wrong, James. My new art's one world for all is different and separate from your madness. And with this art, I will slay you, James. But by being in a mirror world, you're in a world where I always win. Alright, thank you, James. And I'm going to leave and play poker with Yogg-Sothoth. I read that part, I remember. And then Seely, you're no much of a god. And then I'm no much than a human. I will always win, Seely. I don't care about your baloney rules. I'm going to play a match of poker. Seely, there is a reason why I'm a god of fate, Seely. Be careful. Oh no! Yeah, Ghost. Oh, Seely, jeez, man. You literally ran yourself into that trap. You ran. That's like a cavalry unit running into some fortebracias. Fortebracias? I always say their name wrong. That is just. I like that you went to play poker, a game based in chance. With the Lord of Change. Okay. That's why James made that comment. See, there's a reason why I'm the god of fate, so be careful. I defy fate on a daily basis. Not even plot nor destiny have any effect on me, James. Let's see, where is it? Not even plot or nor destiny have effect. Or I'm testing you to become stronger, and there's always a way to break a seal. What the heck? I should have said Zeech got humiliated by the. No, we don't. I know that. So does James. That just makes it more ironic. That is. I will never let that go, though. That is the greatest thing I've ever heard. A giant demon lord loses to a little. It kind of makes sense because you almost wonder if it has, as far as, let's say, put it in IRL terms, you gotta wonder, is it just because of the fact that kids just are pure chaos? So maybe because they're pure chaos, he has no way of weaving their fate, and they somehow have more fate weaving power than he does because of the chaos, naturally, as a child has. I'm assuming it has something to do with that. This is just in real life assumptions, by the way. I'm not saying that's what the lore is. I'm just, in IRL, I assume that's what that translates to. I should have said, don't forget to defeat Nurgle can be defeated by fresh air. That's true! Just get some air fresheners. Zeech comes into town, find a confusing child who lives in pure chaos of his own life. Like the most chaotic child you can find. Send that after Zeech. Nurgle comes to town, just get some Lysol. Corn is a bit of a problem. I guess the best thing you could do at that point is Corn's biggest weakness is just make peace, guys. Just be kinder. Just be friendly. He will literally all of a sudden lose. Just won't be enough energy for war. Slanesh. IRL, I feel like that would be a harder one to defeat unless, or I guess this is going to be an awful joke, but I'm going to do it. I guess Slanesh has just become a priest. Oh yeah, no, yeah, exactly. 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 Each one would have their own weakness. Corn would just be no, corn would be take us to when hippies existed. It would be like, you gotta be kidding. And then, like I said, for Slanesh, just become a priest. But that means everyone would have to. Oh man. Do you have weird green little thingies trying to climb out your eye? There's a Visine for that. Oh, I would love to see Warhammer product commercials. I've always wanted to know what product commercials would look like in video game universes. I sometimes think about that. Like, what would, like, that? That's why I thought that one just hit me. And I was like, yeah, that's about right. Oh, man. That's fantastic. We should probably wrap it up here, though, here in a second. Priests don't work. Orthodox priests can get married and have kids. That's true. Maybe Catholic? But then again, we all know that maybe that Slanesh already broke that reasoning anyways. We're not going to say why. But maybe that's not the key then. What would be Slanesh's guaranteed stopping power? Like, what would keep him from doing anything? The others are more obvious. His is the hardest. Zeech is just a kid. Corns is just hippies. Go peaceful all the way. No war, no nothing. It's better than fighting that thing. And then just some Lysol for infections. But as far as like, yeah, I don't know about Slanesh. Keep everything modest and vanilla. Yeah, right? Exactly. Oh no. Yeah, just everyone just has to be this. Hi. Hi. You cool? Yeah. But not too cool. Good. Stay away from the 80s. Yep. No. If those ever existed, the 80s would have given birth to it. If Chaos Lords could actually be birthed into reality through how they are in Warhammer lore, where they're based on what actually is most prominent, right? For each one. Because just like gods in like old mythologies, they have to have worshippers and energy and chaos to feel the warp of, basically. This is just my rough estimate explanation. I'm definitely not an expert. But as far as like comparing them to other like gods who do the same thing that are not demons but still same thing, I would have to say like if they existed in real life, that he did most of he'd been born in the 80s. Like he would have like try to fix my legs here. I'm kind of hurting a little bit. He'd have been born in the 80s because the 80s is just that kind of timeline. That timeline is just. It was fun. That's all I can say. For a lot of people. Oh man. Korn had been born in WW2. So he'd be older technically. Because each one would be born at a different time in IRL. I feel like certain ones would be older than others, just because they'd be born at different times. If Nurgle wasn't born during the Black Plague, he might be born soon. Let's just put it that way. I'm gonna say modernish. um, Zeech has been here since the beginning. I know that sounds chaotic, like kind of crazy, but if you think about it and how chaotic humanity is overall as a species, it's been here since the beginning. Let's see, the black. Yeah, I imagine it would be Black Death. The Black Death, like Nurgle would have came during the Black Death. I said Black Plague, but yeah, said like the most notorious plague of the planet. That'd have been when Nurgle would have been born. Which in that case would actually make him older than Korn, if I'm not mistaken. So he would be the. At the moment, he is the oldest besides Zeech. I think it goes in. If it were IRL born wise, I think it would be Zeech first. Then it would be. Because humans also started getting, no offense, very. In our early years, like. Bad habits of manipulation, trickery, deceit, betrayal, and nothing makes sense. And sometimes this faction will bone this faction out of nowhere. A lot of completely unbridled, just uncontrolled chaos. So he'd have been born the first. Then I think it'd be Nurgle would be born second, like we said, during the first major plague, the biggest one. Then after that it would be Korn, and then Slanesh. So Slanesh would be the youngest, because he would not be born until the 80s. Yeah, or that one too. It would be either of those. But either way, it would make him older than. Like, Slanesh would be the youngest out of everybody. Korn can older if we include the millions that died. That's true. I guess that, yeah, the Three Kingdoms War, yeah. Maybe. He could have been born then. But I feel like it has to be a global scale event, though. That's the only reason why I'm saying I'm using examples that affected the whole world in its own way. Both of those plagues you mentioned did affect the whole world in its own fashion, for where it could get to. The only reason why I didn't make it further in some of those cases is just the connections just weren't there to get there. But as far as like scaling what it would have been, that's why I said global wise. But I do agree, that is on a high enough scale that might work. Maybe the medieval era in general. Actually, you know what? We might be able to get away with the medieval era in general for all factions. Meaning, during the era of castles and war and siege. Actually, yeah. No, yeah. Okay, no. I had him way too late. He'd have been born during the Iron Era. Because everyone was conquering everybody. Globally. So, no, yeah. It is during that era. Somewhere around there. But on a wider scale. It'd be all of those. And whichever one came first is probably where he would have started, but it would have cascaded into the rest. So, but that's cool. Interesting. You know that means Slanesh would be the weakest, because isn't it the older the demon, the stronger the demon? So this means that Slanesh would be the weakest overall. Oh, I guess it also depends on followers. I do think Slanesh would have more followers today than any of the others would, except maybe Zeech. Because I think Zeech stays the same overall throughout all of it. Because the one factor in humanity that's never changed is our chaos. And our somewhat inability to be kind of organized together sometimes, like we should be. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, other than him, yeah, he'd be super OP by the time modern era kicked in. Rome is Zeech the amount of politics. Well, if we're talking about a faction specifically, then yes. If we're gonna go like not global scale, why each one was born, and we're talking about which faction would be the most prevalent towards this creature, yeah, Rome. Rome would definitely be Zeech, because Rome is very deceptive, was very deceptive. Rome conquered, but also politically conquered. It tricked certain people into giving their land, which is a thing you can actually do in Total War with him. And then let's not forget was it the Great Library, right? Isn't that in Rome? I hope I'm not being mistaken right now and look like an idiot, because sometimes I forget what the Great Library is. That's literally scrolls and texts and grimoires and books. That sounds familiar. um, so clearly, yeah, if we're talking about straight factions, Rome was certainly Zeech. But it also breeds the irony, too. You want to know why Rome is also Zeech? Rome got boned by another faction like it. Which means Zeech decided one day, and if this was in real life, Zeech decided one day, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have this army build a wooden horse. It's going to completely freak you out and trick you. It's going to come into the heart of your city. And then it's going to cause utter bloody chaos. And then Rome is going to fall. In, a night. Or give or take, Rome falls in a day, kind of the old saying. It wasn't built in a day, but it sure fell in one. Zeech will be very annoyed in this day and age after seeing Twitter. Well, yes and no, would it? Or would he promote it and make more chaos? Because think about it. Twitter is pure chaos. So is Twitch. So is YouTube. All of them. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, pure chaos. Pure unadulterated. No one knows what the heck is happening. It doesn't matter who it is. We know what's happening with us individually, as most of us as YouTubers, but as a whole, it's like I don't think anybody knows. So I don't know. I think the modern realm would just make him stronger. That's where Zeech becomes super dangerous as an IRL Chaos Lord. He'd be the most OP out of all of them. And the only way to combat him would be to literally have proper order. Which the only way proper order happens is, well, true, Not to get too much into this is more of a joke, like a joking conversation, but like on a more real note, like proper politics, equality for everyone properly, that kind of thing, and it actually was in place and enforced. Then yeah, okay, that would start to weaken him heavily. Because now his main reason for even why he started with us and was probably the first to be born would be gone. That actually might hurt him pretty bad too. It would give the others an advantage and him none. But who knows? Was in Egypt, but I said Rome because of all the political backstabbing. Well, Egypt is. Well, the funny thing about Egypt is since it ends up being not a part of Rome, but kind of. The British way of a part of being Rome. How Britain conquers people. But let's just say Egypt was probably a part of that, to be fair. And Egypt is also very magical oriented. If you think about their beliefs in Egypt a lot, too. The types of gods they had. Also very Zeechy. Not as chaos oriented because there's order in some of them. Like, let's think about Anubis. He's the balancer of scales and stuff when he judges each soul as it goes by. Through his realm. So, it's interesting to note that, though. I'd have to say, this is going to sound a bit stereotypical because they're already kind of in Warhammer as a faction. I think Khorne would be the Vikings. I think Khorne would be, even though he'd be born in I think I'm maybe somewhere else first because I don't know all my years right now in my head, back of my head for history. So I'm not sure which conflicts took place first. So, but overall, I do think he would faction-wise prefer the Vikings. Pure, unadulterated war. They already worship war gods. Thor, Odin, all of them. Loki, god of mischief. But it's interesting. It's really strange to see how things would break off. That's why I like talking about game stuff like that in IRL. Like, what would it be like if this was real? Thank gosh it's not, by the way. This is because no one would want to live in that. It doesn't matter which lord ends up being where. Would not want to live on that earth. That'd be like living in legit fantasy Warhammer, but in real life. So there is a chance, depending on where you live, especially if you live in the Warlands, that a bloodletter is going to come down your street and just stab you. This is just a joking example, but yes. Or you'll get mind booped by one of the not keepers of secrets, one of the fate weavers, or completely scarred by a keeper of secrets. and and then or get really sick. Imagine getting Isgilead to the Souls or Elden Ring. What I miss? I don't know what I missed. Let's see. Also, Rome didn't fall to a wooden horse. That was Troy. Yeah, but that's basically where it started. Rome may not have been the end of that, but let's just say there's always signs in war when you know you're going to lose. It happened to Germany. There's always that one battle that maybe you should pay attention to. And this is in video games too, ironically. That maybe this battle breeds some bad things to happen. Oh, imagine getting transported to the Souls or Elden Ring world. Well, yeah. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that too. That's pretty bad. I think that's still less than what the Chaos Lords are going to put you through. But still pretty horrible. Still pretty horrible. Still pretty horrible. But yeah, but it's like I said, it was destroyed by German tribes after being ripped apart out of hell of internal and external problems. That's what I mean. And like I said, all their underlying factions who answered to Rome slowly fell one by one. Everyone for a different reason and different conflict. And it's because Rome got too big as an empire. It lost control, couldn't maintain it in the places it needed. Plus, like you said, the Germans, they call them barbarians, but basically the German tribesmen ripping apart every fight they could get a chance on. Even with the Romans winning in certain battles, it's because the tribesmen knew the land better. A lot of those battles outside of Rome's cities, till the later wars, kind of really weren't fought too successfully because you got heavy moving, like, I forget their names, but the sword and shield guys, you got cavalry, which those were somewhat effective, but if you're fighting amongst trees and places where you can be ambushed or there's cover and stuff like that, and the enemy knows how to use this better than you do, this is like Shu versus Wei. Shu's gonna win in those trees, Wei's gonna lose. It's just tactics. It's just war tactics. One army's trained to do this. One army's trained to do this. Rome was more about open field battles, where the tribesmen were really good at skirmishes and ambushing and fighting in the wilderness, luring the luring the Roman soldiers in. This is a pretty crazy battle, to be fair, if you think about it. But it goes to show you, at the end of the day, although in modern it'd be a little harder to pull this off because technology kind of trumps certain things and makes it harder for certain things to be a thing. But back in the day, it just goes to show you you don't have to be the most advanced to really win. Especially if the empire you're facing is already in chaos because it's too much internal bullcrud going on that can't be controlled. That's its own kicker. That's what really destroyed Rome at the end of the day. What really destroyed Rome at the end of the day is just horrible politics management, horrible literal politicians in that case, for at least for Rome, because all of them were greedy. They kept stabbing each other in the back. This happened, that happened, this happened. Then, like we were talking about, the fall of Troy, which is one of their allies, if I remember correctly. It's like I said, those are the things that start to kind of breathe in, and you, as an empire, should pay attention to. Maybe we should take a step back and really rethink some things right now. And they didn't. They just kept pushing. They kept trying. They kept fighting. They kept warring. They kept fighting the German tribesmen. They had to fight other battles at some point that was now causing problems. Because we also got to take in consideration in IRL, a lot of battles probably don't even get mentioned. Like we talked about this about World War II. It's all the what really wins wars. Sure, major battles do win them, but what people don't realize, those major battles aren't even possible half the time until certain small battles end up taking place and one side or the other starts to get some sort of ground. So that's really what happened. There were just so many small battles that just they couldn't maintain. Then they were just gone. Yep, the Byzantine Empire, the Second Roman Empire, lasted way longer until the Ottomans showed up. Yep. That showed them what cannons can do. Yeah, and see that's another thing, and that's where I was about to say. Like I was saying, technology is the next thing that trumps anything. And I hate to say it like that, but technology means a lot the more modernized it becomes when it sadly comes to conflict. It's not good. That doesn't mean it's good, but it is a true fact at the end of the day that, you know, cannon versus catapult, cannon win. Because the catapult is somewhat inaccurate. Well, I say somewhat. The real ones were probably not really that accurate at all. They probably had to make a couple of shots to get the hits right. The cannon's going to be far more accurate getting that first and second shot to be completely hit. So bombards, things like that the Ottomans had. It's like bringing a medieval Abrams. It's like, what the heck is that? Boom! Just hears that. Boom. And they're like, what the? Ah! Boom! Just tears a hole in the wall. The fall of Troy was before Rome, the ambush in German force that killed all those legions. Yeah, I know. Like I said, but like I said, all of that like encompasses together because it'd be the same example. Let's use a modern problem going on. Let's use an example since they're a part of the EU as a whole. If Australia were to have problems right now, and something legit, thank goodness it's not, but something legit bad were to actually get kicked off and they actually lost for some, like hypothetically, this would begin the process of what kind of happened in that situation. The EU would have to take a huge defensive stance because much like Rome, you can't underestimate what losing a certain, and now Australia as a whole is a continent, I want to point that out, but even if like the enemy got some footholds in there somehow, that's a big deal. And that's kind of why when you're out, even if it's with your ally, if your ally is weakened in war, so are you. Because this means you don't have someone to respond when you're in need, And if you're already at war, you can't respond when they're in need. So, yeah. Also, wait, I got a new follower real quick. Thank you for the follow, Eckerd? Eckerd? I think it's Ackerd. Ackerd45, thank you. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, but like I said, when it comes to war, there's no one small thing that really wins or loses anything. It's an accumulation of many incidents over time. Much like how, sadly, in real life, we're encroaching on something that could be something we don't want to all talk about. We're not even going to utter the word because it really kind of all it's doing. Like, do what you can to keep it from happening because we don't. This world needs. It'll be real sad if it goes to that point. But there's also certain factions out there that just it may not be avoidable too, with the way people are treated over in those places. But it's let's just say a certain term we haven't heard in a while is getting real thrown around right now, and it's not good. And so I'll put it in joking terms to lighten the mood. Papa Corn is kind of rearing his head a little bit right now, and it's quite scary. Eckerd, so it's Eckerd. Oh, welcome, welcome, Eckerd. Welcome, welcome, Alicia Eckerd. Oh, nice. Welcome, welcome. Do 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 do. Let's see. German tribes in the forest and Bulgarians in the forest. LOL. But what's up? I'm Alicia. Nice to meet you, Alicia. Let's see. Yeah, I know. It's crazy though. It's funny how an ambush leads to death before both of Rome and Byzantine Empire. Yeah, I mean, ambushes are always an apt tactic, even in modern war today. I mean, it's awful, but technically it works. And so, and it's but back then it was probably more effective. It's a double-edged sword. It'd be more effective today because guns. But back then it'd be more effective because strategy-wise you could legit hide, like they kind of did, small regiments of units in forests, trees, rivers, wherever, or in like little embankment passes to hide from passing troops going down a road who are more an orthodox style of military, and they stay in formation and never break off the path, right? Kind of like Rome does. So that leaves you open, much like in Total War, when you do an ambush battle, where they're going to come from all sides of you. They're not going to just hit your front. They're going to hit your side, your left side, or your left, your right, your back, and your front. So, but let's see. I'm half paying attention. What I miss? Nothing much. We were just talking about like tactics and stuff since it was. Unless you ambush the wrong opponent. Now I will say there are some. Yeah, there are some empires who can get away with surviving an ambush. Oh, thank you for the friend request, Alicia. Hold on. Let me real quick blue screen everybody. Do do do. Also, welcome to the community. I forgot to say that. I'm still a noob. Do 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 do. Okay, there we go. Right. There we go. Took me a second. Sometimes my PlayStation locks up on me a little bit. But yeah, I agree. There are also some opponents who just are just natural badasses. So even being ambushed, they can probably take it. What about the Mongols? Can ambushes effectively? No, I see. That'd be one of those examples. I don't think that would be as effective. I'm pretty sure the Mongols somewhat have that tactic in their arsenal and are trained that way to a certain extent. I don't know enough about them to say for certain, but compared to other factions and like empires, I like to know stuff about. But I feel like they would be less effective to be jumped. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, they're trained too well at being adaptable. The Mongols were a scary force. I would not ambush them in my... I'd rather fight... See, in that case, I think that's where... If you were to fight two different empires who don't really get to fight much, in that case, that's where I'd say you would want more of a Roman tactic. You'd want to be able to fight them with more orthodox, actual tactical strategies that are based in open field. Now, this does mean his horse archers are going to be real good. But I also do think the heavy cavalry, that Rome sports would also counter that. Plus, Rome does have a lot better armor than a lot of what the units they were fighting. So, and styles make fights too. Whether it be from the battlefield or, if you ever seen UFC, MMA, mixed martial arts. Styles make fights sometimes. Sometimes, unless you train yourself to the roof and you know what you're doing with your style hardcore, sometimes you're going to run into a style that just is your trump card. And you have to fight back against it in a different way. So, in real battles, though, like war battles, it's not usually a thing. But anyways, let's see. The Bulgarians beat them in an ambush, but Mongols made them pay afterwards. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, and that's also in their thing. I could see that because the Mongols are they don't tend to leave too much lying down or let things happen lying down. When something happens, they tend to respite equally or double the amount of what you did. So, but alright guys, let's see, 7:45 my time right now. I think we're going to have to start wrapping it up. Crassus says otherwise or not, he would have loved that being the case for his invasion. That's true, but, I don't know. I mean, we can't keep going on for too long in this conversation or we'll be here all night. But that's more of a leader thing at that point. Leaders do, once again, play a lot into that. A general or a commander or whatever, or who, no matter what you're talking about, a leader in general, depending on how they are as a person, can affect a unit in a lot of different ways. Whether it's effective in different ways or it's taken out in different ways. Oh, it's starting to rain. But yeah, I agree. He would have loved that. But wasn't the case. But alright guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. We did pretty good today on the announcements. I'm gonna do one more final reminder for all my people watching my streams this weekend and for what's coming up next week with my college and stuff coming up. So final iteration schedule wise, me and James Army West 9 will still continue our playthroughs on Stellaris and Minecraft Saturdays and Sundays, along with some other things we'll probably do here and there, multiplayer wise. Fridays and Sunday afternoon, Fridays more guaranteed hopefully, will be our new roulette stream, which means we will randomly pick a PC game from the list of games that once that starts, I will be posting on our Discord and beneath the first video that we post. I think what I'm going to do is let y'all pick the first one when we had that first stream that day. We're going to start on my PC's background, and I'm going to let y'all choose what we do that day out of the list. So that way y'all get a fair chance to see what you want on that first one. But those Legionnaires got something from those Horse Archers, and it wasn't victory. Oh, God. It was arrows. Was it sharp, pointy things? No, but anyways, y'all, I hope y'all have enjoyed. Once again, thank you for following Alicia and joining the channel. I hope you enjoy the videos from now on as well. Welcome to the community. And big shout out to James Army West 9 if you want to check out his channel as well. Um, since we're going to be doing a stream this weekend. And to Tam King as well. Big shout out to him. Um, and big shout out to everyone in chat. Farseer, Sealy, Alicia, James, and everyone in the background just watching. I hope you enjoyed this stream tonight. This long vlog. We went longer than I expected, but I'm glad we got everything situated. I'm excited for our new schedule. So, I hope to see you guys this weekend, because y'all won't see me till Saturday for sure. I won't be able to do anything else this weekend because of what I got to do IRL wise, and I'm going to be taking a break to get my energy recuperated a little bit. It's been a crazy last 2 weeks, so. Arrows and lances. Darius is like both. They were unprepared and got shot up for. That sounds about. Oh, ow. That sounds about right, though. Ow. Always remember. Always remember when bringing your soldiers into battle. Always look all directions. And look up. Because you never know when Xenos might be present. No, I was kidding. But anyways. But I agree. Also, well, see you. Also, shout out to Darius. Chilling in the background. But I hope y'all enjoyed. And thank you so much to all you guys out there. And I will see you all this weekend on Saturday with James Army West 9. Bye, everyone. Bye.